Spiritual formation. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Gary, and thank you for giving me a few moments of your time to go on this learning journey and exploring what it means to be formed spiritually. Today, we're going to be looking at suffering, redemptive or self-pitying. One of the things that is particularly sad to me, in that in many ways the world has forgotten this, the value of persevering through difficulties, how that shapes us, how that forms us, in a way that the church seems to disregard this. Somehow we have this overly triumphalistic view of faith that will never face difficult times as long as we are obedient, as long as we are not giving in to sin. Yet when I look at people who don't claim faith, and they recognize how difficult times have just helped them become a better person. I think of Lance Armstrong, 7-time winner of the Tour de France. Of course, those titles were stripped away, but as a fan of endurance sports, I always thought, what an achievement. I mean, what courage, what strength it takes. What would that be like to be able to win the Tour de France? And he had experienced that not just once, but 7 times. Yet most of you know his story, that he went through a very difficult time of cancer before he won his first Tour de France. In his book, It's Not About the Bike, Lance states this: if I had to choose between going through cancer or winning the Tour de France, I'd choose cancer because I learned so much more. Then there's Michael J. Fox, the actor. He had a very curious title for one of his first memoirs. It was called Lucky Man. The reason I say this is curious, a curious title, is that he tells his story of going through early onset Parkinson's and how he was diagnosed at a shockingly young age. The doctor said, "You've only got about 10 years left to act." And that pretty much proved true, although Michael seems to have made a comeback after that kind of report. But he talked about the man he was before he got diagnosed with that, what he's become and he's faced, and here is what he had to say. And it shows you that he doesn't have a particular faith, but it was interesting in his conclusion. He said, if you were to rush into the room right now and announce that you had struck a deal with God, Allah, Buddha, Christ, Krishna, Bill Gates, whomever, in which the 10 years since my diagnosis could be magically taken away, traded in for 10 more years as the person I was before, I would without a moment's hesitation tell you to take a hike. That's a powerful conclusion of one suffering with early onslaught of Parkinson's. Billy Graham, being interviewed by Larry King, Billy Graham was open and honest about some of what he was facing, including some thought at the time suffering from Parkinson's disease. Larry King asked him, "You pray not to be in pain, don't you?" And Billy shocked him when he said, "Not at all. I pray for God's will." Now we're told that it's fine to pray that God would deliver us and heal us, and that's a good prayer. But for whatever reason, Billy Graham said, "No, I pray for God's will. I'm not praying not to be in pain." And he went on to explain that if God had lessons for him to learn in the midst of his suffering, he was eager to learn those lessons, and he didn't want to miss them. Well, here's the reality. Whether our theology accepts suffering as from God or God using suffering, however you want to phrase it, whether we accept that or not, the human reality is we will face pain. Here are really the only two choices that we have. We can accept the pain and of transformation and how being bitter against God and not really get any spiritual benefit. The question is not will we face pain? The question is will it be a redemptive pain or a self-pitying pain? John Calvin, the great reformer, states, all those who regard their troubles as necessary trials for their salvation not only rise above them, but also turn them to an occasion of joy. Well, thank you for giving me a few moments of your time in this learning journey of what it means to be formed spiritually. Would you share this content on your social platform and let others know of this opportunity to grow in spiritual formation and grow together in community? Well, until we can meet again, we bid you Godspeed. Bye for now.